G'day everyone, and welcome back for another edition of Sunday Sessions with my awesome new growing channel down under here called Starseeds Down Under. And for all of you newcomers recently that have been joining us, I'd like to say a big thank you for subscribing and making me another one of your trusted sources of information and being a part of your lives, and just generally just joining me for these videos and just being a part of my life as well. Thank you to all of you here in Australia and abroad internationally. Thank you for being a part of this with me and my journey and growing here, to be here for you as we transition into this beautiful, awesome future that we've got coming for us. And as you can see today, as I've told you just before, it's another Sunday Sessions, newest updates from AMG News, the Trump and Tesla legacy, time travel, free energy tower photos, plus more. My birthday plus more. I've got to say, yes, it is at that time again, and I've come around to my birthday again this year. And oh my gosh, hasn't the year been epic as much as it's been full of heartache, seeing what we're seeing going on around us. But nonetheless, as they say, in order to build a new world, one must first tear down the old one. And that's what we're in the process of right now. Everyone, we're in the process of tearing down the old guard, and this is the reasons why we're seeing the world in the state of affairs that we're seeing it in right now, and being torn down and being replaced with the new, what is to come. So just take solace in knowing full well inside that as much as there's some rough parts to come, there are a lot of good things to come afterwards. So just a little bit of insight for you. Love yous all. So let's get on with it, everyone. All right, so we've got the first news report. I'm going to bring this to the stage. All right, here we go. Bringing me up if it wants to come up. It's taking its time here. It certainly is taking its time, isn't it? Oh, what's going on here? I've certainly messed up here. What's the names? No. Oh, wow, that is unusual. My presets have been changed. Well, I do apologize, everyone, for that. There I go. Right. I do apologize, everyone, for that. That's very unusual for it to be playing up like that for me. So many apologies. Okay, so we've brought that to the screen now. So let's get on with the first news report. So as you can see here, the hidden truth, the astonishing revelation of JFK Sr.'s secret survival, list of witness protection program participants, and the cabal's dark secrets. As you can see here is a particular 17th letter of the alphabet. Just, well then, by golly, sir, you aged gracefully. Because we know what we read previously in the JFK Jr. report, talking about his father and how he was possibly replaced and how everything was the power of misdirection and how they made the swamp believe that they killed him, including his son. Well, here's some more information today that will possibly give us more insight as to how this happened. So let's get on with it, everyone, shall we? Discover the astonishing revelation of JFK Sr.'s secret survival and the hidden power of the cabal. Unveil a web of deception, witness protection mysteries, and a global conspiracy that challenges everything that we know about. The story of John F. Kennedy Sr. stands as one of the most electrifying enigmas of modern times. Switch this over to the other screen. There we go. A man who, against all odds, might have cheated death not once but twice. Official accounts claim that JFK Sr. passed away in 2021. Closing the chapter on an iconic life that shaped American history. But whispers of a shadowy truth have emerged, suggesting that the former president may still be alive, shielded by layers of deception and hidden agendas orchestrated by a powerful organization known as the Cabal. Haven't we had enough of them, everyone? Beneath the surface of this mystery lies a tale of deep intrigue, manipulation, and corruption. This is not just a conspiracy theory, it is a journey into the dark heart of the power structures that control the world. Who benefits from JFK Sr.'s survival? Why was it necessary for him to disappear twice? As the layers are peeled back, the pieces of this complex puzzle come into full view, pointing to a conspiracy larger than anyone could imagine. Oh, indeed it is. It goes deep down the rabbit hole, this one. Not this report, but the particular surroundings of JFK Sr. It is a very deep, larger conspiracy than anyone could imagine. In this article, we will explore the shocking possibility that JFK Sr. evaded death for a second time. Along the way, we'll unravel the hidden operations of the cabal, whose influence spans the globe and ensnares countless other prominent figures. Prepare yourself for a deep dive into a world where the secrets of currency and truth is constantly under threat. Indeed, it is. A very democracy of truth is under threat. Freedom of speech. The enigma of JFK Sr.'s second death. At first glance, the idea that a man could fake his death twice might seem absurd, the stuff of far-fetched fiction. However, the facts surrounding JFK Sr.'s alleged death in 2021 offer an intriguing counter-narrative, one that raises more questions than answers. Could the former president have once again orchestrated his disappearance? Could his supposed death be carefully crafted illusion to escape the machinations of unseen powers? Indeed. The story goes on. I love it. The witness protection exodus. Perhaps the most striking piece of evidence in this narrative is the staggering number of individuals who reportedly entered the witness protection program around the time that as many programs protection, an unprecedented event. This raises the obvious question: why such a massive exodus? The theory proposes that many of these individuals were aware of JFK Sr.'s survival and had to be silenced or hidden to prevent them from revealing the truth, due to their knowledge of critical information. Conspiracy to keep JFK Sr.'s survival a secret. Possibly. The unusual timing and sheer number of people involved suggest that something far more sinister is at play. When analysed against the backdrop of other mysterious disappearances and deaths, the dots begin to connect a chilling fashion. This is just some of the names, everyone, that are on the list, okay? So let's go through them. Dennis Wilson, Heath Ledger, everyone. That's a famous Australian. We all know who Heath's famous last character was. That was one of his most amazing roles ever. Dudley Moore, Andrew Breitbart, Chris Benoit, is it? Benoit, Umaga, China, the wrestler, Rick Rude, Randall Mario Poto, the Macho Man, okay, Paulie Yates, right, that's former lead singer of the Boomtown Rats, Bob Geldof. So Bob Geldof, that's his ex-wife, Paulie Yates, who was having an affair with Michael Hutchence, famous lead singer of Australia's awesome band from the 1980s and 90s, In Excess. Caleb Logan, Dale Earnhardt, Ricky Hendrick, River Phoenix. Okay, so that was staged possibly outside of the Viper Room in front of what's his name? Sorry, Keanu Reeves and his best mate Johnny Depp, all best friends outside of the Viper Room. That's where River Phoenix was supposedly died of a overdose. Was this possibly a setup? Were they construct, clone? Who knows? Synthetic? Who knows? Corey Little, Payne Stewart, Phil Hartman, Don Brown, Alan Collins, Joe Crocker, Barry Oakley, Chester Bennington. There you go. Chester Bennington right there. Chris Cornell. Okay, Chester Bennington and Chris Cornell. We know who they are. Mark James, Florence Henderson, Sonny Bono. Wow. Frank Zappa, Steve Jobs. There you go. Kurt Hennig, Nancy Benoit, George Steele, Ultimate Warrior, Randy Piper. Wow. Sawyer Sweeten, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Well, we're not sure about that one. I'm not sure. Okay. Davey Allison, or Hendrik Twin, Thurman Munson, Teresa Saldana, Corey Montieth, Sever Ballesteros, Anthony Bourdain. Well, he's probably going to, I don't know about that one either, because we all know his connection to Epstein and how he's been named as #1 cook of certain elements of food that are not quite food. They are human. Yeah. Okay. Phil Lynott, Dwayne Allman, John Ritter, Jimi Hendrix. Okay, I've got irrefutable proof that Jimi Hendrix is actually someone who's been known and beloved by all of us in a lot of movies for a long time. I have a facial recognition photo, side-by-side comparison, and the person is one and the same. I'll show you this in another video another time with some of these other people as well. And wait till you get a load of who this person has been in front of us all this time. It even says it on Wikipedia that when Jimi Hendrix ceased to exist, he reinvented himself, not died, he didn't die, and that he became AKA someone else that we have all known and seen in movies for many, many years. It's correct. Selena, James Dean, okay, Jonathan Brandis, Dana Hill, Cass Elliott, Mama, Bob Marley, Tupac Shakur, wow. Buddy Holly. I wasn't surprised about Tupac Shakur. I've heard the reports about him being still out there and still releasing music. So if you've heard it too, give that a thumbs up or comment below. Buddy Holly, John Bonham, Janis Joplin, Nancy Spungen, Patsy Cline, Shirley Temple, Seth Rich. Okay, we all know about Seth Rich and that his connection with Hillary Clinton and the Anthony Weiner laptop. Hank Williams, Mike Starr, Amy Winehouse, Steve Irwin, everyone. There you go. Whoa. Isn't Terry going to be pissed? Yeah, I bet he knows a lot about what she's been doing. We all know. Rob Knox, Lucy Gordon, Big Bopper, Natalie Woods. Wow. Kurt Cobain. Wow. Jane Mansfield, Ron McKernan, Christine Grimmie, Wendy O. Williams, Bruce Lee, Brandon Lee. Wow, there you go. Mary Tyler Moore, James Dean, Sid Vicious, Lauren Bassett, Carolyn Bassett Kennedy. Wow, JFK Genius, JFK Senior. There you go, guys. Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley, Prince, Patrick Swayze. Wow. John Lennon, Yoko Ono, George Michael, Chester Bennington again, Anna Nicole Smith, John Candy, Evel Knievel, John Lewis. Wow, the list just goes. Robin Williams, Paul Walker. Holy shit, that confirms a lot for me because I've got other stuff on Paul, why he was possibly taken out, and it's proof that he was probably hit by a drone missile strike before the car veered off the road on on Constellation Way in the industrial estate where his Ferrari hit a tree. It was taken out by a drone because the splatter pattern of the crash debris consisted with an explosion of something hitting it, making the debris scatter the way it did. It was inconsistent of hitting a tree. So there you go. Okay, now it's a possibility that the Paul that was in that car, I've seen the photos too, possibly was not him. Okay, so fingers crossed that he was. Princess Diana, Davy Jones, Lane Staley, Steve McQueen. Lane Staley twice. Marilyn Monroe. Yes, I'm not surprised about that with her connection to JFK Sr. Chris Farley, Karen Carpenter, Michael Landon. There you go. Touched by an Angel, Michael Landon. Andre the Giant, Whitney Houston. Whoa. Heather O'Rourke, Steve Weiland, Brittany Murphy. Everyone. George Carlin. Boy, if he was around today with Rodney Roode, God, those two would go on a bloody... Oh, I'd love to see those two go to town on these elitist idiots that are around that have been doing what they've been doing to our planet and our countries. Oh, my God. Freddie Mercury, Thurman Munson, Brian Epstein, Chris Cornell again, Bobby the Brian Heenan, Richie Valens. Wow. Tom Petty. Richie Valens, that's... wow. Janie Lane, Rush. Oh, my gosh. The list goes on. That's crazy. 1.2, the cabal's involvement. To fully grasp, that's a pretty big list, everyone, eh? And that's only just a small portion of the 900 that were on that list. So imagine who else is on there. And also just imagine when this is all over, the global party with the artists and musicians that are on those lists, when they come back out, and how many different genres of music will be able to blast through the airwaves again, but also unify so many different groups of people together as one. What a global party that's going to be. Oh, wow. Especially Michael Jackson. Wow. And everyone might have their personal opinions of Michael, but I personally believe that he was framed by the deep state because of his knowing. And also, he had to take himself out of the picture because of the Diddy situation that's going on presently and his connection to their music, the music company, and the ownership of rights over certain material. So we all know about that. Okay. To fully grasp why JFK Sr. would fake his death again, we need to examine the cabal, an alleged clandestine organization with unparalleled power. Indeed, they are, and have been. Not anymore. The cabal is rumored to be an delete group of individuals. Sorry, had to put that in there. Controlling everything from government decisions to global conflicts. Their primary goal: total domination over global systems of power and resources. Us and everything around us. If JFK Sr. had stumbled upon sensitive information or posed a significant threat to their influence, it would provide a clear motive for his disappearance. Many believe that after his assassination attempt in 1963, JFK Sr. became deeply aware of forces at play behind the scenes, making him a target once more. His survival, therefore, posed a direct challenge to the cabal's grip on global affairs. But what secrets did JFK Sr. uncover? Could it have been the cabal's illicit dealings or their involvement in orchestrating world events for personal gain? I believe it's all of the above, and some. Whatever it was enough to make him fake his own death again. The cabal's dark secrets. The key to understanding this complex tale lies in unmasking the cabal itself. For decades, rumors about the cabal's influence have circulated, but only recently has there been true scope come into public awareness. Described as a secret society with roots that stretch back centuries, thousands of years actually, the cabal is said to operate behind the scenes, manipulating governments, economies, and even wars to suit their dark agenda. Indeed they have, and still ongoing at this point in time, but not for too much longer, everyone. Tables are about to turn. Okay, I mean, like, we have to understand, I mean, we were warned by Eisenhower at the end of his deliverance speech at the end of his administration before resigning, telling us all about the military-industrial complex, which is referred to as now what we call the deep state or cabal. Okay, so we were warned back then, and JFK Sr. himself, also upon one of his speeches, had talked about secret societies and different groups behind the scenes that stretch back, okay, with secret covens. Okay, this goes back a long way. We've been warned, and it's been in our face the whole time, but we unfortunately have had a matrix of bullshit put in front of us so much that has kept us bogged down and distracted in our own disillusionary existence from day to day with working, paying taxes, blah, 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 and all the other shit that comes along with it. Really, at the end of the day, they created a perfect system in order for us to be heads down, bum up, don't ask the question. Okay? You know where I'm coming from, everyone. It's no secret, it's no secret the cabal is alleged to be involved in activities that would shake the foundations of morality. From orchestrating conflicts to human trafficking, the cabal's influence is believed to reach deep into the underworld of global power dynamics. Their agenda: total control of the world's resources, wealth, and political systems, including all of us. In the shadowy game of power, the cabal has ensured that their operations remain hidden from public view. Well, they're pretty bloody damn obvious now to all of us. And it will be pretty obvious to most of the masses pretty soon when it does get revealed as well. So good luck trying to hide it. But until now, in public view until now. But the startling revelations about JFK Sr.'s possible survival have exposed cracks in their facade, hinting that a far-reaching conspiracy that threatens the very fabric of society. The cabal's connection to JFK Sr. Sr.'s presidency marked a turning point in American history. His charisma and bold policies endeared him to the public. Indeed, he was. But behind closed doors, it is believed that he uncovered too much about the cabal's operations. He did. This made him an immediate threat, possibly leading to the infamous assassination attempt in Dallas, 1963. But what if the narrative surrounding his death has been a carefully crafted lie all along? Indeed. What if he was actually not in that car that day? Could it be that JFK Sr. faked his own death after realizing the extent of the cabal's influence, re-emerging only to be forced into hiding again in 2021? This theory offers a plausible explanation for this mysterious second death and unusual circumstances surrounding it. The fate of those who knew too much. The cabal's power lies not only in its influence, but also in its ability to silence those who pose a threat. Over the years, numerous high-profile individuals have met untimely and suspicious deaths. Everyone that we just read on that list just before, and some, raising questions about whether they were the victims of the cabal's deadly breach. Many of these deaths have been dismissed as mere coincidence or suicide, or the patterns are too striking to ignore. For me, that's what I think too. The tragic end of celebrities, from actors like Heath Ledger to musicians like Chester Bennington. The list of celebrities who have met tragic, mysterious ends is staggering. Indeed, it has. It has been a big list. Could these individuals have been privy to information that put them in crosshairs of the cabal? The theory suggests that some of these celebrities were involved in humanitarian work or had connections to whistleblowers who have exposed the cabal's secrets. Well, I think it's a little bit more than that. You have to look a lot deeper to the fact that these people have been celebrities for so long. What parties did they go to? Who were their affiliates, associates, friends, close friends? Okay. Did they go to freak-offs, as we now know them to be? Okay, through the Diddy allegations, so to speak, and now Jay-Z and his involvement. Won't be long before the Kardashians are named publicly as well. But going to these parties, you are privy to seeing quite a lot of things that us in the public are not. Okay, I mean, just look at the stories we've heard about Hugh Hefner and the Playboy Mansion. We all know what's underneath Playboy Mansion and where it leads to, and the 3 different addresses on that street that it leads to. You know, Jack Nicholson, okay, Warren Beatty. Yeah, that's just 2 of the addresses that I know of. But that's the thing. These people know things, who's who of Hollywood, what they do. Sometimes they have to go to these parties signing non-disclosure agreements and leaving their phones in their cars or their security outside, and have to partake in some of these things by signing that non-disclosure agreement. And by signing that, they are sealed to silence. Otherwise, if they talk, blow the whistle, whatever, talk on a video to someone about this, taken out, whitewashed. And there's always a reach. Okay. And they don't want their secret to be out. We all know what the secret is. Secret coven lays within the blood. We've been told this through movies, countlessly, vampire movies, countlessly, for the last few decades. Yeah, what is the secret coven in the blood? Immortality. Well, not so much immortality, but eternal youth. They have to keep bathing, ingesting, partaking in these things in order to stay youthful. Hence the reason why so many of these older celebrities that are older than me still look like they're in their late 30s to 40s. Vampires. They're real. They're right in front of us. They're called celebrities. False gods, false idols, false prophets. They shall fall. Every one of them. Okay, here we go. Heath Ledger, for example, was heavily involved in charities aimed at helping the disenfranchised, while Chester Bennington was reportedly working on a documentary aimed at exposing human trafficking, a major operation tied to the cabal. These deaths, often labelled as suicides or overdoses, could be very well be silencing tactics designed to protect the cabal's interests. Indeed, they were. I heard stories about Heath Ledger back when it happened, that apparently one of the Olsen twins had an involvement because her sleeping tablets or some form of medication with her prescription name on the label was found beside his bed where he died in New York City. Okay. And she was apparently subpoenaed to Supreme Court to give evidence, and she never turned up. She just basically dismissed it. I don't know what become of that, but it would be interesting to find out nonetheless what her involvement was with supposedly Heath Ledger's alleged death. So, time will tell. But if she had some form of involvement, I'm hoping that she will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Whether it be the real Heath Ledger or not, the fact that she partook in something to cover up a secret or the self-interest of another higher up the chain, if she was involved, she needs to be prosecuted. Whether it be the real Heath Ledger or not, whether it be a clone, doesn't matter. These people have committed acts that are egregious and heinous against human rights, plain and simple. Political figures and public figures. The political world has also seen its fair share of mysterious deaths. Figures like Andrew Breitbart, Seth Richards, and even Princess Diana. Well, could these individuals have uncovered dangerous secrets about the cabal? Diana's public disillusionment with the British monarchy and her high-profile humanitarian work put her in a high vulnerable position, while Seth Richards' involvement in exposing election fraud made him a clear about Princess Diana, but with the other one about Jimi Hendrix and who he is today. The idea that the political figures and journalists were assassinated for knowing too much isn't far-fetched, as it sounds when viewed in the context of a large conspiracy. The cabal's reach is said to be global, and anyone who threatens to expose their activities, me, and anyone doing this, could quickly find themselves in harm's way. Well, good luck, because I do believe a lot of us are being protected to quite a fair degree right now. Breaking the cabal from within. With the cabal's vast power and influence, the prospect of dismantling their operations seems impossible. But history has shown that no matter how powerful, can remain in control forever. Indeed, look at the Roman Empire. Well, they fell, but they just transformed themselves into the Catholic Church. But others we know of, they've always lost control and lost their reign of power. Those, as the Emperor said in Star Wars, those who gain power are afraid of losing it, even the Jedi, apparently. Well, the Sith's overconfidence is their weakness. Plain and simple. Okay. Yes. The first step in breaking the cabal is big enough to speak out. 4. The role of whistleblowers. Whistleblowers like Edward Snowden and Julian Assange have already risked their lives to expose the dark underbelly of governmental and organizational corruption. Could there be more individuals within the cabal itself who are willing to step forward and reveal its secrets? Let's hope so. Flip the script. Tell the truth. Get a lesser sentence. Don't get death. Get life in prison instead. At least you have your dignity and your respect. And your conscience is clear. The idea of infiltrating the cabal and gathering intelligence is a dangerous proposition, but as history has shown, it is not impossible. Whistleblowers have the power to change the course of history by exposing the truth, and the truth about the cabal may very well lie in the hands of those still on the inside. The power of unity is there. If there is one thing that history has taught us, it is the power of the people can bring about monumental change. I love that. Unity among those who seek truth is essential in the fight against the cabal. As more people become aware of their influence, the pushback will grow stronger. A global movement, one that demands transparency and accountability from those in power, has the potential to bring the cabal to its knees. In recent years, the rise of the independent media, investigative journalism, and online activism has given ordinary people a platform to challenge the status quo. This growing awareness, combined with the courage of whistleblowers and truth seekers, could ultimately expose the cabal's darkest secrets. That's what we do. That's what this is all about. This is what we have to do. Having the courageousness and bravery to speak up, knowing that we have an obligation and duty of care to one another and other all other human beings on this planet, that if we see something that is wrong and we know that we have the ability to do something about it, we have the obligation and duty of care to one another to make others aware. It's in the Constitution of America. We have the right to do something about it and the obligation and duty of care to do it. The story of JFK Sr.'s possible survival and the involvement of the cabal in global events is one that challenges their understanding of history, power, and truth. Is JFK Sr. truly alive? Well, it remains to be seen. If so, what does his continued existence mean for the world at large? The answers to these questions may not be fully revealed for years to come yet. I don't believe they will be either. But for the fight for transparency and accountability must continue. I agree. This isn't just about one man. It's about a much larger battle against corruption, secrecy, and the forces that control the narrative. As we continue to unravel the truth, one thing becomes clear. The world is watching, and the demand for truth is growing louder. In a world filled with deception, half-truths, and manipulation, the quest for truth is a noble pursuit. It is a journey that takes us into the darkest corners of power, but it also gives us hope that one day we'll emerge with answers. It also sheds light upon the darkness. You want to expose a shadow? Put a little bit of light on it. The cabal's grip on the world may be strong, but it's not unbreakable. We can break it, and we're in the process of doing that right now, everyone. As we continue to challenge the forces that would keep us in the dark, we may pay homage to those who dare seek the truth, no matter the cost. The road ahead may be fraught with danger, but the pursuit of transparency and justice is one that we must all undertake for ourselves, for the future, and for the world. And that I could not agree more with. Okay? Kennedy's speech, 1961, was given just a few months after his inauguration and just a few months before the birth of Barack Obama. The speech has puzzled historians, speechwriters, and politicians for decades. Perhaps Kennedy didn't mean his speech for the time when he was living, but for a later time, for the generation of now, the final generation. Kennedy clearly knew something and attempted to convey it to the public in 1961, shortly after his inauguration. His speech wasn't just about secret societies, but about a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy. Kennedy knew that the problem expanded far beyond secret societies, like the Freemasons, the Jesuits, etc., but rather was comprised of a single entity, an umbrella corporation. We know that name, Umbrella Corp, with several groups inside of it working toward a common goal. I'm not saying that's an actual corporation, Umbrella Corp, but the syntax being used conveyed their umbrella corporation, a single entity. Well, we've seen that displayed in movies. So let's actually just take a quick look at this video of JFK Sr. that goes for roughly about 15 minutes. I'm going to remove myself from the stage so you can enjoy this in full screen. Hope you enjoy, everyone.
But the dimensions of its threat have loomed large on the horizon for many years. Whatever our hopes may be for the future, for reducing this threat or living with it, there is no escaping either the gravity or the totality of its challenge to our survival and to our security. A challenge that confronts us in unaccustomed ways in every sphere of human activity.
This is important work. It has made a real difference in the lives of our people. And it could not have happened had we not worked together. And yet, around the globe, we are seeing the same forces of global integration that have made us interdependent also expose deep fault lines in the existing international order.
The president-elect is coming into office at a moment when there are upheavals in many parts of the world simultaneously. You have India, Pakistan, you have the jihadist movement. So he can't really say that it's one problem, that it's the most important one. But he can give a new impetus to American foreign policy, partly because the reception of him is so extraordinary around the world. I think his task will be to develop an overall strategy for America in this period when really a new world order can be created. It's a great opportunity. It isn't just a crisis.
We see it in the headlines every day. Around the world, refugees flow across borders in flight from brutal conflict. Financial disruptions continue to weigh upon our workers and entire communities. Across vast swaths of the Middle East, basic security, basic order has broken down.
It would be a serious mistake for the United States to abandon our responsibilities or cede the mantle of leadership for global peace and security.
And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control.
We see too many governments muzzling journalists and quashing dissent and censoring the flow of information. Terrorist networks use social media to prey on the minds of our youth, endangering open societies.
And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
Powerful nations contest the constraints placed on them by international law.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
By international law. In order to move forward, though, we do have to acknowledge that the existing path to global integration requires a course correction by international law. Alternative visions of the world have pressed forward, both in the wealthiest countries and in the poorest. Religious fundamentalism, the politics of ethnicity or tribe or sect, aggressive nationalism, crude populism, sometimes from the far left, but more often from the far right, which seeks to restore what they believe was a better, simpler age, free of outside contamination.
For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation, a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned. No secret is revealed.
So the answer cannot be a simple rejection of global integration. Instead, we must work together to make sure the benefits of such integration are broadly shared, that the disruptions, economic, political, and cultural, that are caused by integration are squarely addressed.
Today, no war has been declared, and however fierce the struggle may be, it may never be declared in the traditional fashion. Our way of life is under attack. Those who make themselves our enemy are advancing around the globe. The survival of our friends is in danger, and yet no war has been declared.
A quarter century after the end of the Cold War, the world is by many measures less violent and more prosperous than ever before. And yet our societies are filled with uncertainty and unease and strife.
In time of war, the government and the press have customarily joined in an effort based largely on self-discipline to prevent unauthorized disclosures to the enemy. In times of clear and present danger, the courts have held that even the privileged rights of the First Amendment must yield to the public's need for national security. Today, no war has been declared, and however fierce the struggle may be, it may never be declared in the traditional fashion. Our way of life is under attack.
Despite enormous progress, as people lose trust in institutions, governing becomes more difficult. And tensions between nations become more quick to surface. And so I believe that at this moment, we all face a choice. We can choose to press forward with a better model of cooperation and integration, or we can retreat into a world sharply divided.
Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it.
We can only realize the promise of this institution's founding to replace the ravages of war with cooperation if powerful nations, like my own, accept constraints.
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders. What is at stake is more than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order, where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause to achieve the universal aspirations of mankind, peace and security.
And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security.
The word peacekeeping does not appear in the Charter of the United Nations. But for the past 7 decades, our collective ability to maintain international peace and security
will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment.
Thank you very much, Minister Westerveld, for calling us together at this critical moment to discuss peace and security.
My vision is 2 states living side by side in peace and security.
I want to talk about our common responsibilities in the face of a common danger. The events of recent weeks may have helped to illuminate that challenge for some, but the dimensions of its threat have loomed large on the horizon for many years. Whatever our hopes may be for the future, for reducing this threat or living with it, there is no escaping either the gravity or the totality of its challenge to our survival and to our security. A challenge that confronts us in unaccustomed ways in every sphere of human activity.
Sometimes I'm criticized in my own country for professing a belief in international norms and multilateral institutions, but I am convinced that in the long run, giving up some freedom of action, not giving up our ability to protect ourselves or pursue our core interests, but binding ourselves to international rules over the long term enhances our security.
Our way of life is under attack.
We are all stakeholders in this international system. And it calls upon all of us to invest in the success of institutions to which we belong. And the good news is that many nations have shown what kind of progress is possible when we make those commitments. Consider what we've accomplished here over the past few years.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it.
If the unspeakable happened to us, and we should all understand that ultimately our world will be more secure if we are prepared to help those in need and the nations who are carrying the largest burden with respect to accommodating these refugees. If the unspeakable happened to us, there are a lot of nations right now doing the right thing. But many nations, particularly those blessed with wealth, the benefits of geography, can do more to offer a hand. Time and again, human beings have believed that they finally arrived at a period of enlightenment, only to repeat then side conflict and suffering, and to recognize that I can best serve my own people. I can best look after my own daughters for all people and all children, and your daughters and your sons. This is what I believe, that all of us can be co-workers with God.
Pope Francis is to take part in the final meeting of the World Day of Prayer for Peace when he travels to Assisi on Tuesday, the 20th of September. The World Day of Prayer for Peace concludes a three-day event organised by the Sant'Egidio community and entitled this year, Thirst for Peace, Religions and Cultures in Dialogue. It sees the presence and participation of some 450 religious leaders of different faiths gathered to pray for peace and strengthen dialogue in the spirit of Assisi. As the Bishop of Assisi, Domenico Sorrentino, explained to me, the event takes place in a historic moment for peace building as we witness so many situations of war, terrorism and widespread violence.
It's a great occasion to bring people together, bring the believers of all religions in this moment where the world is facing a big crisis, as we see every day. Big crisis with globalization, big crisis also of wars, fought in pieces, like the Holy Father used to say. And this occasion of grace, because we are together not only to reflect, this is important, but also to pray, each one according his own tradition, but we want to reaffirm the importance of the faith, the importance of prayer, the importance of the grace of God, if we want really build a new world, a world of peace.
But the dimensions of its threat have loomed large on the horizon for many years. There is no escaping either the gravity or the totality of its challenge to our survival.
It is a sources.
Basic security, basic order has broken down.
It sees the presence and participation of some 450 religious leaders of different faiths gathered to pray for peace and strengthen dialogue.
This is important work. We are all stakeholders in this international system. Time and again, human beings have believed that they finally arrived at a period of enlightenment. This is what I believe, that all of us can be co-workers with God.
Well, there you have it, everyone. Pretty sad state of affairs. How the deep state have gone and reverse projected pretty much everything upon us that they are actually doing. You know, like just listening carefully to the way the speeches are constructed for them in order to deliver to the audience, to slowly but surely over time brainwash them into obeying and being in accordance with these new isms that they bring in, which leads eventually to their new world order. I mean, isn't it they're crafty, very crafty. It's all part of mind control. But me, I don't know about everyone else, but I'm sure most of you that are joining me here and other platforms that we tune into and other beautiful people that are like-minded and delivering this information, I'm sure that all of us are into the business of freedom and freedom of speech, abundance, prosperity, being able to live, love, laugh, and create, be inspired. I think that's a future that I want to be in, not the future that they had planned for us. And I can see it day by day, bit by bit, crumbling, section by section. Their apparatus that they had created that had been built up over the many decades, it's coming apart at the seams. And there's nothing that can stop what is coming. This was prophesied. This was all told, foretold, thousands of years ago. And as I've said before, and I'll re-say it again, is that everything that we've read in that so-called book that the Catholic Church pretty much put together, that they derived from other texts that go back hundreds of thousands of years, back to ancient Sumer and other civilizations, jumbling them up and putting them into a book and putting an old genocidal maniac up against a benevolent creator. You can see that there's two different factions here fighting for humanity's survival. One's fighting for its survival, one's trying to wipe us out. Okay, it's unbelievable. Like these readings that come from hundreds of thousands of years ago, from ancient Sumer, was all prophesied to be happening now. It's all happening. It was all rewritten into the Bible. We look at it as revelations now. We look at all the things that are happening in the sky and strange occurrences and movements within the stars and planets and moons, strange things happening in the sky, sounds happening in the sky. Nonetheless, these are all signs of what they call the second coming of what they call the Creator and Yeshua. And I subscribe to the idea that Yeshua is with our good guys upstairs that are working with our Earth Alliance, working with Enki and the Galactic Federation. They are the grand armies of the heavens that shall return at the end of days, the Seba Heshmayim. Okay? The grand armies that shall return at the end of days, the grand armies of the heavens. Armies being plural, more than one. Galactic Federation and all the different star nations working with them. Okay? You got the what's now posed as Space Force, which is basically a 50 or 60 year operation that's basically now being used, Space Force, as a way to publicly expose to the masses that we have a secret space program. And that secret space program has been in existence for 60 years now. Okay? Those groups are plural, more than one, working with the ground-based Earth alliances as well, Navy, Army, Air Force, military here on Earth. These are plural, more than one, armies of the grand heavens that shall return at the end of days. Yeah, we got that covered. Okay, so it's going to be beautiful, okay? But we right now have to see through the veil of the bullshit, and the only way we can see through that veil of bullshit is by having all the different elements of people that we trust. And thanking you again, once again, for trusting me to be a part of that for you. We have to put all these elements of information together to gain an overall picture in our heads of what is to come. And what is to come is nothing short of breathtaking and beautiful. That was prophesied too by the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Okay. We were quoted recently by Trump on his acceptance speech upon being elected during the last election, just recently, that we are now entering a golden age. Well, that specific term itself was prophesied thousands of years ago by Thoth the Atlantean, that we will be entering the golden age. It was also prophesied by Edgar Cayce, 19th century or 20th century prophet. So we're on the cusp of that golden age now. So really, when you look at the prospect of that compared to what was written in Revelations as us being judged by those that come from the sky at the end of days, it's not us who has to worry about being judged. It's all of them. It's all of them, not the masses. We're talking about the deep state cabal, Satanists, Illuminatists, Freemasons, and anyone that's connected or affiliated with them. They are the ones that had to fear everything that was coming from the sky and everything that they've projected onto us through movies, media, etc., science fiction. We've all been taught over time that we should fear everything that's coming from the sky. I beg to differ and say otherwise. That is, in fact, the opposite. We have nothing to fear of what comes from the skies, because who comes from the sky is mentioned in Genesis as that we are made in their image. What is coming from the sky is someone that is very human-like. We share their DNA, their genetics, 22 different star nations, to be precise. Okay, the cedar races contributed their DNA to us to create with local hominids the modern Homo sapiens sapien that we are today. Hence, make them in our image. Us. Make them in our. Them and our. It's plural. Make them in our image. Let us, plural, again. Make them, plural, in our, plural, image. So that is one person talking to many others in the room. What are they? Master geneticists. Making them, us, in their image. So therefore we have nothing to fear from the sky. So take solace inside, guys. The best is yet to come. And all of this was prophesied, and we're all getting to the best parts soon. But we've got to get through the rough parts. And as I said, in order to create a new world, our Star Trek type future, one must first destroy. We have to get rid of the old guard, wipe the ground with it, and be gone with it forever, and see the de-elitists removed from this planet, however way they're going to go, whether it be taking their oranges, the new black overalls, to Guantanamo Bay or to Diego Garcia and being executed, to being, life imprisonment underground. Who cares? Get on with it already. Get out of the way. We have a future to behold and uphold and partake in. And so the sooner this war is over and it's done by the white hats and rubbing the ground with them, and the grand armies of the heavens working with our military alliance, Earth Alliance, secret space programs that have existed for 60 years, finishing up the end game that we are in right now. Once that's done, the truth shall be revealed. The veil shall be lifted, and all shall be revealed. All that was hidden shall be known. Isn't that beautiful? What an ending to this war. Can't get any better than that. Can't get any better. And then the golden age awaits us. 1,000 years of peace, abundance, prosperity. Awesome stuff, eh? So let's get on with it a little bit more now, everyone. Now I want to move on to the next topic. We're going to talk about the not so much the drones subject as such, that when UAPs that are being spotted all over the world, but a segment that I'm going to play for you through Dr. Salla and Elena Danaan's latest with Dani Henderson in relation to these new towers that are being rolled out, free energy towers. Now, Elena has actually gone and confirmed and validated previous work that I've actually put out for you all on previous videos that are in my videos list there, so you can go and check them out if you'd like. Plus also information in relation to Nikola Tesla's connection with this, with John G. Trump, which is Donald Trump's uncle. Okay, so what I'd like to show for everyone right now is just a little bit of an excerpt taken that goes for a couple of minutes by Elena, talking about these new free energy devices that are being rolled out, which confirms and validates previous information that I've put out there for everyone before. So I'm going to remove myself from the
Yes, two things, Dani, regarding the technologies that Tesla, I would say, imported on Earth. The first is the free energy towers, that what we call the Tesla tower. I've seen this technology, this tower on Neptune, actually. People, extraterrestrial culture named the Koldasi, who lived in underwater cities on Neptune, use these towers to harvest the frill, the energy from the ether, to power their cities. It's relayed under the water by a shaft, by a tower. And so when I saw, and well, I told you about it, Dani, and we saw together, suddenly it hit us that it was the Tesla towers. It was exactly the same process and exactly the same architecture, like a kind of Eiffel Tower with a dome on it. And then I realized, well, wait a minute, the Cold Sea are a very ancient culture that is also present on Venus. They are present two places in the star system, Venus and Neptune. And Tesla is said to be a drop of baby from Venus. So I went, here we go. We have something there. And then regarding the frequency shield, that is a technology that is so commonly used among the more advanced extraterrestrial civilizations, such as in the Galactic Federation of Worlds. You would have these frequency shield around important facilities, spaceships, space stations, outposts, military outposts. And we find also these frequency shields on ground outposts, to protect the ground outposts. And we have on another domain in the Busage Mountain in Romania, Radu Cinema described this frequency shield around a facility that only the person with the right DNA and consciousness frequency could pass through. And so that's effectively technologies that have been used by the star people for eons of time.
Awesome information there. Awesome information from Elena. So bless you. Thank you, Elena and Dani and Dr. Salla, for that excerpt. I pay homage and respect to you all. Thank you so much for being able to provide that for my audience and being able to hear for themselves, essentially, what to look out for. Now, as much as you've heard that validation of those particular devices, I'm going to show you some pictures of them again that I've shown before on the channel. But before I do, I'd just like to also iterate as well in relation to what Elena was talking about with shields, okay, being used on space station ships, medical outposts, military outposts, etc., even on Earth here or on other planets. We see this consistently all throughout all science fiction, especially more so Star Trek, which is what we are heading to, our Star Trek future. So just to iterate that to you all again, it's just like when you're watching sci-fi again, such as a Star Trek TV series or something like that, when you see asteroids or blasters or photon torpedoes hitting, a ship or something like that, look out for how these shields protect, okay, the ship and its crew, or a military installation or whatever, medical facility or ground operations from potential threats or attacks. Pretty interesting information. Now, getting onto these towers, as you can see here, we can quickly see that this picture illustrates easily for all of us what it says for the deep state, and what they had against Nikola. Now, electric power is everywhere, present in unlimited quantities, and can drive the world's machinery without the need of coal, oil, gas, or any other of the common fuels. This is the free energy that he was tapping into through the magnetic fields of the Earth and through this Wardenclyffe Tower that he created, okay, at the expense of J.P. Morgan here on the left-hand side here, okay, and the Rockefellers. And at the end here, you can see, J.P. Morgan and the other bankers first pretended to back Tesla, but effectively they were only seeking to control him. When they found out that he was planning to give the world free energy as a gift, they silenced Tesla using the newspapers that are controlled and other banks. Now, why were they doing this? Well, essentially, you can't meter and make money from something that you're giving away for free. And when that was found out by those that had been funding him, they couldn't make a return on this. And not only that, they also knew that there was an alternative, fossil fuels, okay, which created the current electrical grid that we've got today. Okay, so they essentially went out into the street, electrifying elephants and giraffes and monkeys and all that, saying that that was Tesla technology doing that in order to push forth their agenda of the current electrical grid that we use today. In fact, it was their electrical grid that they were using to electrify these animals. Reverse projection. in order to make the public believe that their system was going to be safe and a viable system. But how many people have died because of electrical fires? I say my case rests. Okay, Tesla's system is so viable and so beautiful that it's in alignment with the universe, and there is no particular way of being able to catch fire. No more electrical fires. Okay, Tesla was a genius, beyond his time. I mean, he even created ultraviolet light therapies, something that we only saw an emergence of at the end of the 2022, 2021 era, at the end of those V years that we were all locked down. And we saw light therapies, ultraviolet light therapies, particularly being introduced by Trump at the end of his administration as well. So we can see here that it has quite a good effect on the cells and what it does to regenerate and clean them of viruses and all sorts of crap. He was also in, I'll have to show this regardless of the fact that the picture's got my notifications at the top, but I'll enlarge this for us so that we can go a little bit bigger. But this is another one of Nikola Tesla's inventions, and how you can see how the deep state military industrial complex, and I'd say solar warden groups as well within the secret space programs, bad guys, have utilized this technology in order to create what we now know publicly, everyone, as UAPs. Yes, the UAP phenomena. It's all military industrial complex, back engineered technology stolen from Tesla and from other sources such as downed, crashed, or shot down ships. So, it's pretty easy to see how these guys have been utilizing this technology to try and fool the public into believing the narrative of what's going on right now that we're seeing presently roll out within the news media about this drone sightings everywhere all over New Jersey and Washington, etc. right now, in New York City and surrounding areas, okay? Not so much Washington, because that was actually real ships the other week, okay? But more so the other areas that I just mentioned, and how there's a lot of controversy around that. I'm not going to get into that. I'm not even going to begin to comment on it. I'll leave it for the professionals such as Dr. Salla. In that interview that we saw there, I'll leave a link for that in the description below for everyone to go and have a look at. It's a great interview with Elena and Dr. Salla with Dani Henderson. Can't recommend it enough. Full of information, help you navigate through the ways and the times that are coming ahead of us. Okay, so definitely check that video out. I'll leave the link there for you all. Here's another statement of Tesla's that I'd like to show you all. When you understand every opinion is a vision loaded with personal history, you will start to understand that all judgment is a confession. How true is that? It's one statement that we haven't actually been exposed to quite often of Tesla's. We all know the others. And if you want to know the keys to the universe, think of terms of vibration, frequency, or the other one about keys to the universe, think of 3, 6, and 9. Okay? Yeah. But that one particularly, I love that one. When you understand every opinion is a vision loaded with personal history, you will start to understand that all judgment is a confession. How true. Now, getting onto these towers that Elena was just talking about, she gave a very, very vivid description with a dome on top. Well, I've shown these before in my show, and I thought, why not show them again? It makes perfect relevance right now for all of you on what to keep an eye out and look out for in your state, region, country, around the globe, because these will be going up everywhere. These are already being erected in certain areas in Texas. One particular area called Milford, Texas. If you live in Milford, Texas and tuning in, please hit me up with an email and send me a photo of this particular tower if you've got new updated photos of this. Here we go, everyone. Check this out. As you can see, this is a dark, gloomy photo, unfortunately, not very clear because it's taken on a dark day, but you can see clearly a new style, what I would consider to be very similar to Wardenclyffe. See here on the top? Yes, very similar to what we see here. This is in a different area. Okay, here's a close-up of it. See the dome on top, just like Elena had mentioned in her statement. And her and Dani realized what these were and knew exactly what they were. Well, this is a confirmation of their description for all of you to see that they are being indeed rolled out right now. The free energy is being prepared for all of us when the current grid goes down. Okay? It's like a flick of a switch, just like the financial system. When it crashes, the system that's underlying it right now, which is what we call the quantum system, okay, is presently underlying it, ready to take over for when the other one that we currently know crashes. Here's a close-up of it again. Pretty much got a dome on top, just like Elena said. Hey, so keep an eye out, everyone, for these particular free energy towers being erected in your state, county, region, or country around the world right now. If you're tuning in, this is what to look for. And this is a proof of that report of these coming in. It says right here, I'll enlarge this for all of us. The facts, Visiv Technologies have erected a tower in Milford, Texas that bears a striking resemblance to Tesla's Wardenclyffe Tower. The new tower aims to send wireless electricity across the world for all. Reflect on, have we already had these technologies to change our energy systems for centuries? Yes, indeed, the answer is 100% yes. What is holding it back now? The cabal. Deep state. Are we ready as a society to truly accept collaborative and peaceful technologies? I believe we're at the precipice. We're on the cusp of change right now, and these will become a reality. And as you can see in this photo here, it says this was erected in 2018. So this is a 6-year-old photo, everyone. 6 years old already, this photo. So if you're in Milford, Texas, or any surrounding areas that have these towers, and you're tuning into this channel and know of these there, please hit me up for an email and send me latest photos of these. Is it possible to transmit electricity wirelessly? Some claim yes. This type of technology was not only utilized in ancient times, like in Egypt, for example, but also the 19th century scientist and mystic Nikola Tesla. I wholeheartedly agree. Wholeheartedly agree. We've had this technology for centuries, if not thousands of years, and Tesla just tapped into it as he grew here. And as Elena said, he is a Venusian. The story's been roaming around about Tesla being a Venusian child for quite a long time, hence the reason why he was able to create three-dimensional objects of what he would like to design in his head, break them down piece by piece, and then actually draw them as he saw them in his head on a diagram, drafting, and then go ahead and build it. He'd actually see it from multiple XYZ axis inside his mind and then break it down. We can have computers that do that today called graphics programs. His mind was essentially working like a graphics program, breaking it down piece by piece, drawing essentially each component. And then once the diagram was complete, he'd go and complete the actual device. Okay, and this is gifts where he was tapping into his memories of what he retained from being dropped off as a baby from Venus. From previous lifetime, okay, and having access to that technology. He retained that in this lifetime and brought it to the world, trying to bring about change. And unfortunately, he was thwarted by his efforts by those in power. And hence the reason why we're on the cusp of where we are now, because all of this is coming apart. For all of you that don't know, Tesla did actually light up in the early 1900s, half-mile field of lights wirelessly once he turned on the Wardenclyffe Tower. I kid you not, everyone. He lit up a half mile of field with lights wirelessly when he turned on the tower. Proof that we haven't needed fossil fuels or copper wiring from the poles anywhere to our houses or anywhere else. This all existed all around us back in the 1900s and still exists today. And this is why these are being rolled out. Because enough of us paying electricity bills. I don't know about you, everyone, but I'm tired of paying for them. I'm deadly tired of paying for them. My electricity has risen 70% in the last 5 years. Here in Australia, especially, 70%. It's ludicrous. You know, my internet's increased by $25. You know, everything's risen by substantially. So it's getting hard, I must admit, but hopefully things will ease soon. With the changeover, everything shall come about. Hopefully there's no disruptions of services of any sort, infrastructure, water, you know, electricity of any sort. Everything just switch over. It'd be lovely, wouldn't it? So here I'm going to show everyone again that these are just one of the 6,000 patents that Trump is going to probably announce in the future that have been in existence. This one here has been in existence since 1986. April 2006 it was filed. Okay, it was by John Quincy Sinclair. Yeah, same last name as me, unfortunately. Fortunately, but unfortunately. But this was actually a full body quantum teleportation device. And they are very, very similar in every way I've stated and quoted before to what I see now in the new Star Trek Strange New Worlds teleportation pads that are on the USS Enterprise, of basically being soft disclosure and truth in plain sight. These pads are almost identical. Okay. So that's the US patent filing from the US Patents Office for quantum teleportation, filed. Publication date was in 2006. It was probably devised and actually, just have a quick look and enlarge this for us all. Where was this actually? When was it first filed? Here we go. Hopefully it says it up the top here. It says, see, full body teleportation system. Okay. A pulsed gravitational wave wormhole generator system that teleports a human body, a human being, through hyperspace from one location to another. Beautiful, isn't it? Unbelievable. There you go. September 29th, it was filed in 2004. The publication date was April 6, 2006. Full body quantum teleportation system. John Quincy Sinclair, San Juan, California. There's the application number. You can look it up for yourselves. It does exist in the US Patents Office. Okay? So check it out, everyone. It does exist. These technologies are real, and there has been no need for us to use fossil fuels all this time. Another one that exists that I'm going to show you that the white hats have probably highly well utilized is quantum time travel. Another one that was filed, publication date April 6, 2006. What to say? Method of gravity distortion and time displacement, time travel. Yes, it was perfected. Okay, a method for this is the abstract of how this particular device works to create time travel and how it operates. A method for employing sinusoidal oscillations of electrical bombardment on the surface of one Kerr-type singularity in close proximity to a second Kerr-type singularity. In such a method to take advantage of the Leslie-Thering effect, to simulate the effect of the 2-point masses on nearby radial orbits in a 2-to-1 dimensional I can't see that from here, sorry. Theta space, resulting in creation of a circular time-like geodesics conforming to the Van Stockholm and Vandenbroek modification of the, oh wow, it's getting pretty deep, permitting basically topology change from one basic specific point boundary to the other. You can pretty much get the idea of it, eh? And as you can see, the diagram here of highly charged particles basically hitting two Kerr-type singularities running in parallel with each other opposite ways to create a time-space window that one can pass through from one point in space to another. Time travel. We've been seeing and hearing about this through Andrew Basiago from Project Pegasus, from the Montauk Project for decades. We've also seen this depicted in TV shows such as Time Tunnel back in the 1960s and 70s. We've also seen this in countless sci-fi movies, more so recently in the Avengers Endgame. I'm not kidding. Actually, there you go. There's a better look at that. For any of you that want to get a screenshot of that and share those particular US patent filings, go ahead, please. I'll give you full permission. As Elena has given us full permission to use the flyover videos in the future that happened in Westminster, Colorado this year. We have full permission, every one of us, to share those. And I'll give you an actual show of that right now. Please, I am giving you all authorization to clip the sequence showing the UFOs and republish it wherever you want. It needs to go viral, or just share this video if you don't know how to do that. That is quote by Elena Danaan, okay? Those videos of the flyover of Westminster, Colorado at the GSIC conference this year on 24th of September is for all of us to share on your platforms. Moral obligation and duty, because that was a history-making moment, everyone. History was made. History was made where the Earth Alliance flew over in a TR-3B, Flying Triangle anti-gravity aircraft, followed by Galactic Federation of Worlds ships flying in and out of formation across back and forth the sky in front of just under 1,000 guests at that conference that night. Unbelievably awesome, hey? History-making moment. Indeed, wasn't it? And I do believe that, they have brought forth and ushered in a new age, our golden age. They are all part of this. They are our brothers and sisters. They are our cousins. They are our family. They are those that we were made in the image of. They are human, essentially 90% of them. Okay, it's going to be fun seeing all this unfold. But truly, really, when you want to see how this really goes, all you got to do is just look to the past and see and basically, if you want to know your future, look to the past first. Because as you know and understand the past, only then can you gain insight as to how and where your destination point is going in the future. It's easier to navigate your way. Okay. Now, in saying that with time travel, I want to quickly share also this particular tab, which is my channel on Rumble, okay, for all of you to enjoy. And this is my Starseeds channel on Rumble. Please be kind, and if you want, give us a follow over there and hit the notification bell. But there's a particular video that's over there on my Rumble channel by the name of the time travel miracle of Nikola Tesla and John G. Trump. Future will prove past. Okay, this was another video that was provided by Elena about 2 years ago, where she actually asked everyone again to actually go over, take whatever means you can, whether download it, video it via your phone or whatever, and reshare it however you can on your platforms. Well, that's exactly what I did. This particular video depicts and shows quite very vividly how Tesla was quite possibly actively doing time travel experiments on top of the Hotel New Yorker in which he was staying in New York, the same hotel in which he died in, where John G. Trump, Trump's uncle, Donald Trump's uncle, was responsible for retrieving Tesla's 80-odd trunks of diagrams, patents, designs, diagrams, notes, diaries. Okay, now we have to understand that some of these have actually made it into the deep state's hands over time, because we've seen their weapons being used. Tesla in no shape or form ever wanted to be remembered for his inventions to be used for weapons of war or destruction in any way. He wanted them to be used in a way that was productive for society and human evolution and how we move forward into our future, never to be used for weapons of war. Okay, Dani and Elena and Dr. Salla quite illustrate that very well in their latest video that I just showed you a little bit earlier. So I highly suggest going over and checking that out. Please check this video out as well. Give it a like if you like as well. Please, as I said, give us a follow on here and be a part of the Starseeds family on Rumble, growing at the moment as well. I thank everyone again for joining me on Rumble and YouTube recently. I have seen the numbers growing, and I love seeing you all coming and joining, and the positive feedback I'm seeing in the comments as well. I love it. I thank you all. It's really, truly fulfilling and inspiring because it helps me go on and want to create more content for all of you as well. So thank you. I love you for it. Okay. Now I'm going to quickly end this video today with this video that I'm sure all of you have seen before. Okay. Unfortunately, it hasn't switched over yet. It will. Hopefully, it'll play properly. This is all about site. Hopefully, it'll play for us. Ah, how lovely. Skip. Hopefully, it'll play for us now. Here we go, everyone. I'm going to remove myself from the stage. Hopefully.
The film you're about to see has no characters. If you spare a little of your imagination, it is a film to describe to you the effect of cymatic frequencies on matter. Everything owes its existence solely and completely to sound.
Awesome. Did you like that? I hope you did. Thank you again, everyone, for joining me today for another one of Starseeds Sunday sessions. It's been great having you all. I really appreciate you having been here for my birthday as well. Yes, I'm 51 today. It's unbelievable. Another year has passed, and let's hope the next year is just as beautiful and awesome with this new Star Trek future that we're all heading into, our golden age together. All the beauty and wonder and awe, abundance, prosperity, joy, love, reunions that are going to happen over the next year. Isn't it going to be just awesome? I can't wait. Can you? I'm really looking forward to it because I'm going to be reunited, hopefully, with my daughter after all this time. Yes, unfortunately, it has been a hard road for me. It's not always smiles, rainbows, lollipops, sunshine, and fairy floss for me, mate. You know, I've been through some hard times with my daughter as well in the last 7 years, especially with the indoctrination programs and belief structures. And I'm hoping that it all becomes undone, and with a bit of medbed technology and healing over time and a bit of chatter, you know, conversing back and forth, connecting, getting deep with one another, finding forgiveness and finding and replacing that with love. Hopefully that'll bring back to each other that reunification that I really hope to achieve one day with my baby girl, you know, who's not so much a baby anymore. She actually is 23 this July, you know. But when you go 7-8 years, Nelly, watch her go from a mid-teenager to now a young woman who has her own life, her own partner, her own beliefs, and not really have too much contact with her dad, who loves her very, very dearly, who has hurt him very much, but still loves her very much so, deeply, wholeheartedly, with all my very fiber of my very being. You know, she is my greatest artwork that I ever created. I created another living universe that lives, walks, breathes, and talks here amongst us. You know, she is my very creation that I created through the love with her mother that we had together for that brief time. So really, I have a lot to be grateful for and thankful for, and really have a lot to look forward to by holding on to that hope deep down inside that I know with what's coming, it will be so fulfilling, so uplifting, that reconnection, that reunification that I think a lot of us have been missing because of what's been going on, will bring all of us back together with family members, loved ones, those that we've missed the most. You know, it's going to be beautiful. And I hope that we all end up in some form of global celebration in some way or form, where we get to be joyous in occasion for many days and be uplifted by music and those that have sacrificed so much by stepping out of the public light for however long, only to come back and let us find out that they are all alive and be in this beautiful world that we've all re-entered together, knowing that the darkness itself has been removed. What a beautiful way to enter into the golden age, hey? So in saying that, everyone, I'm going to leave it there. I won't waffle on. I love you all. I thank you all. You've been a beautiful audience. And I just want you to remember always, unlearn and discern, everyone. It's the only way that we can navigate safely through the bullshit, is when we unlearn what we have learned and discern. Okay? I take care of you. Take care of all of you. Until next time, I'll see you soon. This is Chris out. Until then, talk to you all soon. Take care.